What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, sports world? You already know who it is. Andre the Torch Robinson, the fire starter. Man, oh man, oh man. Listen, shout out to everybody that's tuned in on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Rise Up Unlimited Radio Show is brought to you by WDAP Radio and WDAP TV. Of course, y'all know we on YouTube, Facebook, the whole nine yards. We always, the latest and greatest in sports. And this show right here, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, this show is anticipated to be a scorcher. This will be a scorcher. This is gonna be a debate-like show today because it's always good. You know how Rise Up family do. We love to talk sports and we talk sports abroad. We don't just talk sports in local, we talk sports nationally, internationally as well. So we meet a lot of new people and there's a lot of groups that we follow and we support and that support us. And my guy to my right is from one of those phenomenal groups, WNBA group. In fact, my guy is from DC. He is a God-fearing man, coaches basketball, played basketball. Me and him have a lot of similarities, somewhat synonymous in what we do. My guy DJ from DC is in the building with us today. Actually, look like he's ready to go run a practice. I think that's what he's going to do now. Actually, and shortly is to run a basketball practice because when you coach, the coaching never stops. So shout out to my guy DJ from DC. DJ, what's good, my G?
Man, what's going on, man? Shout out to you, bro. Like I said, like I had to talk to you, man. Like I said, man, I would like to talk to Andre, man. It's the only one that can pull up. There's a lot of people that had to say under my comments, man. But Andre was ready for smoke, man. I'm like, you know what? I like this dude, man. So yeah, man. Shout out to Andre, man. Appreciate the introduction as well, bro.
Absolutely, no question about it. And by the way, make sure y'all like and share this because this will be a debate show. It will be a whole lot of fun, and hopefully, this won't be the first and last time you see two phenomenal folks come together and debate. Obviously, y'all already know we have our shows Monday, Wednesdays. Shout out to Marcus Betts and Devon and everybody who do shows with us as well from all over the continental U.S. and abroad. We appreciate that, but I have to let DJ know right now that he talked about smoke. And when there is smoke, there is fire. You got to know this. The fire starter is here, and I'm ready. I'm ready for action, ready for duty when it comes to this debate thing. So, by the way, I'm gonna pull up a video. We're gonna start the show off with a video from yours truly, DJ. DJ put up a video just recently, and it was about another content creator, which, by the way, I'm going to let you know personally on the show, I am not the biggest fan of her, by the way. I'm not the biggest fan of her. Uh, does she do good work? Sure. Angela Perry is one of the folks who does WNBA content, creates content for herself, and goes to WNBA games. I respect it. I respect her hustle, what she does. But we're gonna get to this video, and I'm gonna let y'all see this, and I'm gonna let y'all hear this. So listen carefully.
Says Love Wilson, she is by far the best player, but why was no one watching her like they are now before Clark came to the WY? Tell me. In the United States, we have an unfortunate system of hierarchy. Men are at the top of it. We live in a patriarchy. Men are more important than women in our society. White men are at the top of that. I don't make the rules. You guys know this is what it is. Till our society decides something is important to white men, it is not important to anyone. I have been watching the WNBA since 1997, and the product that they have produced has pretty much been.
All right, I'm gonna stop you right there, man. And this is the issue right here. And I made a post yesterday, and people got mad at me, and stuff like that, talking about victimhood and different things and stuff like that. But when somebody asks a legitimate question on why nobody watched the W, let's just say why the viewership increased, since Caitlin Clark arrived. And the first thing you say is
white men and patriarchy, it literally makes you sound delusional because you don't consider the fact that this kid was, extremely good in college. Nobody really paid attention to Iowa basketball on the women's side, not in at least our lifetime. For them to be able to go to the Final Four 2 times in a row, for her to be able to lead the nation in points and assists, and set all these records in college, you don't consider all of that. And then the fact that when she comes into the WNBA, becomes rookie of the year, has 20-something assists in a daggone game, man, likes to, to league up her first year. You don't consider none of that, to say that, okay, maybe that's exciting to watch. We want to say, okay, it's white men and patriarchy, and that's what makes us just sound crazy when we start, try to bring up all these crazy narratives when it has, considering Caitlin Clark, and that's the thing about A'ja Wilson. A'ja Wilson is the best basketball player in the WNBA, hands down. There's no doubt about that, but her game is not necessarily entertaining to watch. You're not necessarily saying, oh, I got to go watch A'ja Wilson play, and that's not no shot at A'ja, but that's just that's just the reality of it. Like I said, Tim Duncan, very, very great basketball player, very, very effective basketball player, very boring basketball game. We didn't even got to leave Caitlin Clark in it. We can add players like Olivia Miles. People love Olivia Miles. She is very marketable. Her game is very entertaining. We love watching the hang dribble, no look passes to Natasha Howard, the step back threes, talking it's these kids. It's a different level of talent. We ain't even got to make it all about Caitlin Clark. It's a different level of talent that's coming in. You got Flau'jae Johnson, who just dropped 28-something points. You got Awa Pham, the rookie over in Seattle, the same one on the team. She just had 20-some points. Sydney Taylor, check Sydney Taylor out. Of course, Olivia Miles. Of course, Azzi Fudd. This is to me, I believe, the best rookie class that ever touched the WNBA. And it's going to continue to get better and better. So when you say that, okay, why didn't people watch it? You talk about white men and patriarchy and all. It's that's crazy. That's ludicrous. The game is changing. Players like Caitlin Clark, Olivia Miles, Angel Reese, Paige, these girls are changing the game, man. And we got to pay homage to them. It ain't had nothing to do, no shot at A'ja and none of the old heads and stuff like that. But like I said, it's a new game, man. And that's what we got to be able to just understand, man. I'm going to holler at y'all in the next.
Yes, sir. I love it. I love it.
All right. So that's the video DJ put out. Now, I'm gonna be very honest. I'm gonna play the video back and I'm gonna start and stop at certain points. And then we're gonna have some dialogue. So let me play that back again, and I'm gonna stop it.
Wilson, she is by far the best player, but why was no one watching her like they are now before Clark came to the WY? Tell me. In the United States, we have an unfortunate system of hierarchy. Men are at the top of it. We live in a patriarchy. Men are more important than women in our society. White men are at the top of that. I don't make the rules. You guys know this is what it is. Till our society decides something is important to white men, it is not important to anyone. I have been watching the WNBA since 1997, and the product that they have produced has pretty much been.
All right, I'm going to stop you right there, man. And this is the issue right here. And I made a post yesterday and people got mad at me, and stuff like that, talking about victimhood and different things and stuff like that. But when somebody asks a legitimate question on why nobody watched the W, let's just say why the viewership increased, since Caitlin Clark arrived. And the first thing you say is white men and patriarchy. It literally makes you sound delusional because you don't consider the fact that this kid was, extremely good in college. Nobody really paid attention to Iowa basketball.
Let me stop right there. So right off the jump, you mentioned patriarchy and Iowa basketball. So here's my question to you. I'm just gonna ask a couple questions and see where we go with this.
Okay.
So you don't think patriarchy or the fact that certain cultures or certain people are systemically oppressed financially had nothing to do with the WNBA in the beginning? Nothing to do with it at all? Because I beg to differ.
Well,
the reason why I beg to differ is, number one, when the league started off in 1996, let's be very honest and very clear. The NBA, let alone sponsorship from folks who we know have the dividends, which would majorly be white folks, and let's be honest, because we all know that Black people cannot extensively oppress any culture because we don't have the means or revenue to do so, right? So we know that the NBA did not endorse the WNBA properly, number one. And number two, we know that they wasn't getting no sponsorship from those big corporations. In any sport, any team, we talk about corporate sponsorship. I'm here from Buffalo, New York, by the way. Buffalo, New York does not have the greatest corporate sponsorship at all. So when you talk revenue and trying to drive a product or a brand, if you don't have the corporate sponsorship, you really don't. I mean, it's really going to be harder for you to be able to elevate a brand without some type of financial monetary help. So that's just number one. My second thing is too, we clearly know for a fact that people did not want to support women in this league, in this WNBA league in 96. We know this for a fact. The footprint and the writings on the wall have been already put out there. They didn't want to support the league. They didn't think women had the right to have a basketball league of their own. I've been doing this for God knows how long. When it comes to sports, as far as professionally covering sports for 10 years, and then I've been a sports fanatic since a kid. So like I know kind of the environment in which the WNBA evolved. So that's one. Secondly, was nobody was watching Iowa basketball. To say no one was watching Iowa basketball is a total disrespect to me to the legacy of Lisa Bluter. Now, do I like Lisa Bluter? No, I'm not a big fan of Lisa Bluter at all. But I am a fan of what we do, which is coaching. You are a coach, I'm a coach. So we have a certain respect when it comes to coaching. When you've coached for a long period of time, it is not easy to coach. You know this. I know this. It's not easy. It's not the easiest thing to be able to coach a group of people that come from different areas and different walks of life, be able to get them all together to believe in one solid goal. It's not easy. Lisa Bluter did that for Iowa when Iowa was nothing, when Iowa was crap.
Right.
Iowa, she coached Iowa for 20 plus years. My thing is when people say nobody watched Iowa basketball, well, from a national standpoint, you don't become coach of the year anywhere. And I mean anywhere. You don't become coach of the year anywhere if nobody is watching you.
Right.
Now,
So
is the viewership different when Caitlin Clark came into play? Yes,
and that's
absolutely.
all I was
That,
saying.
that's
And that's
that's
literally all I was saying.
that's not even a debate.
Yeah.
When Caitlin Clark came on scene, but we have to remember when the viewership really went up when Caitlin Clark came on scene. So for those who do not understand or do not know this, Lisa Bluter was coach of the year in 2020, by the way, for the
Yeah.
Iowa. A lot of folks don't know that. A lot of folks don't even.
And
I
was
mean,
Caitlin Clark a member of that team then?
this was right before Caitlin Clark.
Hmm?
So Caitlin Clark came in the class of 21. Remember,
Yeah. Hold on,
freshman
can I
year
just
was
address
21.
Yeah, can I address your point? Because you started out talking about the patriarchy in the WNBA, and number one, I don't really have any dispute with anything you said. Determining that as far as like corporate ships and different things and stuff like that. We all
Right.
know about the WNBA. It was hard for them to turn a profit for what 20, 25 plus years or something like that, and the NBA was investing a lot of different money into the WNBA and was looking to get something on the back end. And we definitely understand the patriarchy in terms of that, but in terms of viewership and what drives the market, I don't think patriarchy has an effect to that. And the reason why I say that is because that when you look at all the stats that I mentioned from Caitlin Clark, that right there alone is what makes people want to be able to watch. Like I pulled up an interview the other day where, but prior to the Angel Reese incident, she was getting interviews with Stephen A. Smith. This was like early on that season. She was getting interviews with Stephen A. Smith. So it's like and that's the whole thing. And then like going towards like the Iowa basketball concept is like, again, like I was like, and this is the thing I always say about Iowa. I agree. She's a really good coach. You know, and I agree with your assertion and what you were saying as far as coaching and everything and stuff like that. But all I was saying was when you were talking about in terms of viewership, like, you know, when we talk about women's basketball, we used to talk about UConn, we talk about South Carolina, you know, we talk about LSU. I'm talking about in the like the barbershop talk. You know, we talk about, you know, in terms of, you know, when Breonna Stewart was there, when Diana Taurasi was there, you know, Candace Parker was in. You know, we talk about Tennessee. You know, we talk about those. That's what I was pretty much talking about. Like, nobody was talking about Iowa basketball in that sense, like, as far as being, you know, a juggernaut or, you know, that heavyweight puncher. You know, so that's where I was pretty much coming from, which actually, you know, furthers my point, which I say a lot of times what speaks to Caitlin's greatness is that, you know, when you got terms, you know, players like Breonna Stewart and, you know, Azzy Fudd and Paige Buckers and all these players, they go to, you know, you go to Geno, you almost guarantee the championship. It's almost like it's hard to go 4 years in and not at least appear in a championship game. But you got somebody like Caitlin Clark, you know, who went to Iowa, where they're never going to be able to see. I don't know when the next time they'll probably see a Final Four. For her to do that 2 years in a row, I feel like that speaks more to her greatness, you know. And that's pretty much what I was saying, was like she made it where Iowa basketball relevant. Now, again, you got somebody like yourself who's been involved in all types of sports, who, you know, go in and do the due diligence to research these things out. But that you're an outlier, though. You're never going to be the majority of, you know, of mainstream, you know, what people are talking about. You know, like, people wasn't, you know, talking about Iowa because of the coach. They were talking about it for Caitlin Clark, you know. So that's, you know, that's pretty much where I was just coming from with that point, you know. And just what the young lady was saying is that with Caitlin Clark, it's not the fact that she just shoots the threes and all of that. Remember, she was talking trash to Haley Van Lith, you know, she was, you know, waving off Raven Johnson and all that type of stuff. So it became controversial, you know, where, you know, people love controversy. It just sells. So people started to, you know, like, really just say, you know what, you know, they started to get a draw onto this player. You know, so I was saying is that I don't really think that's terms of white man patriarchy. I just think that's terms of good marketing. For instance, like with Angel Reese, when she waved her hand in the face, everybody blew up, you know. So that's what I'm saying, is that, like, I just, for me, and honestly, just so, you know, everybody can know my heart, I just don't want, you know, black people as a whole to always, you know, look for an excuse when something's not, like, instead of saying, okay, how can we navigate to make our people or whatever bigger on the market, let's not always say,
Yeah.
okay, the white man, you know. And that's pretty much all I was coming from.
So when you made the video, I totally understood your angle as far as black people not playing the victim all the time. I totally respect that, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm the type of person where I don't believe in that victim shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my friend. I don't believe in victim, like all that victim stuff. I believe
Yeah.
in actions and then
Right.
results. That's what I believe in. Actions, results. Now,
Right.
when you talk about Caitlin Clark and you talk about Iowa in retrospect, I just want people to understand the timetable and understand what really went on, because you have a lot of media pundits like Stephen A. Smith, perfect example. I'm glad that you mentioned Stephen A. Smith. And this was my point. My point was, if I asked Stephen A. Smith right now on this show today, if he was on here, and I said, what happened to Iowa in 2022? Stephen A. Smith wouldn't be able to tell me that straight directly from his mouth. He would have to have somebody answer that question for him. That's like Stephen A. trying to, I mean, just because they a media pundit and they on ESPN does not make them qualified to talk certain stuff. Like, would you allow Stephen A. Smith to tell Barry Melrose about hockey? Would you allow Stephen A. Smith to tell Max Kellerman about boxing? Would you allow Stephen A. Smith to tell Dick Vitale about college basketball? Hell no, absolutely not. And I feel like this is one of those things where Stephen A. Smith, he has a lane. Stephen A. Smith has a certain lane. And I feel like folks took, because Stephen A. Smith was like, oh, shoot, household name, yada, yada, yada. That means that because ESPN said it, that is the consensus. But that is not the case. For people who actually was there, me, myself, moi, being one of those people who have the credentials and who's been to these tournaments, I can tell you firsthand that's not the case.
What you saying?
And the reason why I say that is because if we remember, there is a formula to national notoriety, and you can probably pin this on every player, and it'll stick. Legitimately, it damn near will stick all the way through. So first and foremost, the national notoriety, for people who don't realize, in 2021 was Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers, like you mentioned, UConn, Who watches UConn? Who watches basketball when it comes to who watches the team more? UConn or Iowa? We watch UConn. UConn has the prestige. Obviously, we're gonna watch UConn more than we watch Iowa. Who would you watch more, LSU or Iowa? You're gonna watch LSU because LSU has the prestige. Not only do these teams have the prestige, they also have the major contracts because a lot of these teams have already done things. See, the Buffalo Bills wasn't on prime time until the Buffalo Bills started winning games legitimately and getting themselves out there. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with LSU basketball, South Carolina basketball, UConn, USC's of the world. Because of prestige, you're going to watch these certain teams more. But I hear these narratives all the time about how supposedly Iowa was watched more than LSU or South Carolina. That's bogus. And the reason why it's bogus is because of TV contracts. Majority of the TV contracts go to the SEC. Anybody who knows college basketball, football, whatever, you know the SEC gets those majority contracts because, again, of prestige. Tennessee's of the world. You got Alabama's of the world. You got LSU. You got Georgia. You got Florida. You got those teams have done things. Iowa has never won a national championship in either basketball or football. So again, like when we talk about another thing, and not to have this impersonation, I love my guy Marcus the Alphabet, but it always says who you play with matters and where you play matters as well, right?
Yeah.
So when we decipher national notoriety, these four things matter, right? Campus. Are you one of the most popular people on campus athletic as an athlete? What you do in your conference, what you do in your tournament, and what your impact of winning is as it pertains to your team.
Right.
So when we go by those four metrics and for national notoriety, Paige Beckers was it in 2021. Then we go to 2022. How many people know what happened to Iowa in 2022? And this is where I step in and say, hey, listen, you guys got to stop this narrative on Caitlin Clark, how she was just this big household, big shot name in 2022, when that's not the case. I literally was at tournaments. I asked commissioners myself about when you have tournaments, they pick the places where these tournaments happen.
Can I just ask a question real quick? Was this prior to Paige Beckers' injury? Because remember, she got injured.
Correct. In 2022, she was injured. Correct. But guess who had the notoriety in 2022?
It was Paige Beckers.
No.
It was Paige Beckers before Caitlin. That's what I'm saying. Because
so the notoriety in 2021 was Paige Beckers. In 2022 was Aaliyah Boston. Do we not remember Aaliyah Boston not only won the championship, was National Player of the Year as well? Aaliyah Boston was 2022. For folks who don't realize this, I'm giving you facts. This is no fiction. This is no opinion. This is no feelings. This is just straight facts. 2022, Aaliyah Boston was the notoriety girl. And she went to the league, you notice, and became Rookie of the Year her first year in the W. So when you look at that, right? And then I said, well, hey, what did Iowa do in 2022? Because that matters. Remember, you already playing at a school who's kind of behind the eight ball. They're in one of the weakest conferences in women's basketball. Yeah. They're in one of the weakest Power 5 conferences in basketball. So you're kind of behind the eight ball already. And then what you do by the metric I just gave you, those four metrics, what did they do in the tournament? Well, I was there for when they lost to Creighton. How many people know what Creighton is? If I asked you right now what Creighton's mascot is, nobody could tell me what Creighton's mascot is. They lost to Creighton in the second round. It was Caitlin's worst game as a collegiate player against Creighton.
This is her sophomore year, right?
In 22.
Right.
Second round. You know what happened the same year? I can tell you this. This is just facts because I was there. You know what happened that same year with Iowa basketball?
Yeah.
You remember players by the name of Keegan Murray? You remember Keegan Murray? You remember Luke Garza?
I know who Garza is now.
They both were NBA top prospects in 2022. I watched them both get dropped in the first round of a tournament right here in this city where I'm at right now. They got dropped in the first round of the tournament. Go back and look at it. So once again, when we talk about notoriety, I remember I said popular on campus. Iowa basketball was checking for Luke Garza and Keegan Murray because they were top NBA prospects at that time. And when I asked the 18 commissioner, when I asked the Big Ten commissioner, when I asked those commissioners about bringing the women's basketball here to this city, because again, they pick the places where these women play in the tournaments.
Right.
Buffalo here gets a tournament every 4 years. Every 4 years, this city gets a tournament. We get the first 2 rounds. And in fact, the winner of the tournament this year came from Buffalo. Michigan won the national championship. They came straight from here, right here. So when I asked, they mentioned Paige Beckers. They didn't mention Caitlin Clark. I'm going to be honest, and this is real. In 2022, they mentioned Paige Beckers. Now, mind you, Paige Beckers is now about to be rehabbing coming off an injury. Remember, because she was injured in 2022. So I'm like, okay, yada, 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 fine and dandy. 2023 comes. And the real notoriety for Caitlin Clark came when they made the tournament and she did all the stuff that you just mentioned. Remember you said the Haley, you remember you said the Raven Johnson wave?
Yeah.
Now, nationally, that story wasn't posted.
Yeah.
Nationally, go back and go.
But see, I agree with you, but social media is what, like, in today's, which I'm sure you agree with, like, social media has more of an impact than like national headlines at points, because like these kids are not looking at, waking up looking at USA Today or or Washington Post.
They're looking at social media, absolutely.
Yeah, they look,
so my thing is, go back and look even in social media. If that story was posted about her waving off Raven,
well, not it went viral. It went crazy viral at the time. Like, I remember it went viral. Because I remember Raven said she was like even depressed or something like that at the time or something, because it was like how much talk it was getting.
So Raven had the mental breakdown. Yeah. She had the meltdown. I remember she had the meltdown the whole entire 9 yards. But nationally, to me, when you look at the stories, the story really didn't break, or national media didn't break the story until Angel did this. And Angel mentioned it, that, hey, listen, she disrespected one of my SEC girls when she waved her off. And that's when they went back and looked at the whole situation and that's when everything blew up for real. And if we go back and just research, you'll see the NIL deals went up. The NIL deals went up. The viewership went up through the roof.
Nah, they was covering it on ESPN.
Through the roof. They
was covering it on ESPN, though. They was covering it on ESPN because that's what got her to Stephen A interview, because he asked her about it. He asked her about those. I can go back and find it. He asked her specifically about those things that you're talking about, because people was making.
Yeah, it was October. I can tell you the date. See, this is again being a media source, being a media buddy. I'll need to look. It was October 10th, 2023, where Stephen A. Smith sat down with Caitlin in the interview and asked her about all that stuff, and then that stuff came out.
What was the year again?
It was October 10th, 2023.
Okay, so that was prior to that tournament then.
Yes, that's before the season. That's before the 2024 season, in which Iowa took storm. Like Iowa, first and foremost, and this is why I give Lisa Bluder her props even more, because you had an Iowa team that's, to me, behind the 8 ball. Not saying that they weren't good, because that narrative is crazy trash. I'm tired of hearing certain narratives about Iowa basketball. Like, people say, well, that team wasn't good. Nah, that's a lie. The Monica girls was one of the best front courts in college basketball. Monica Zarzino and Monica Warnock was 2 of the best front court players. Let's not do that. She also had a bunch of good role players. Remember, Kate Martin went to the league. Kate Martin went to the W. She went to the W.
She's still in the
right. It's still in the W. Hannah Stokey was good. I'm shocked about Hannah Stokey, but that's for another time, another conversation about Hannah. But to say that she didn't have a good team is crazy work. I asked, and this is what I preface it, I asked how many other players out of that class went to the W and have been impactful. Because to me, competition matters. There's
Yeah.
a reason, and this is just me. There's a reason why Texas, Notre Dame, Iowa, Iowa State, Oregon State, those were the teams that heavily recruited her. The six schools that heavily recruited for Caitlin. Now ask yourself this question. Now ask yourself this honest question. You a coach and I'm a coach. You know how the SEC give it up, and you know how the Big East and other divisions give it up. You got to be able to play both ends of the floor, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right, correct. You got to be able to play both ends of the floor. Could you have seen Caitlin Clark start over Olivia Miles? Right now with what you know.
Yes, because you know what I'm going to tell you why? Because she actually is a better defender than Caitlin. I'm sorry, a better defender than Olivia Miles.
See?
And look, and the people, when I say this, people always look at me like I'm crazy. If you think I'm lying, go back, because look, and you know about Cheryl Reeves, right? Cheryl Reeves is a great defensive coach, great defensive scheme. They hide her a lot. You will never see Olivia Miles on the best player, because she can't really. But you're not going to see it because they don't go viral on social media. But I be watching the games on silent, and I'm like, wow, like she's actually not a great defender at all.
She would have started over Hannah.
Hannah Hidalgo. You know what's funny? I actually coached Hannah Hidalgo. I coached her for one game back in New Jersey. Back at NCAA. I was trying to get her to come to NCAA. I coached her for one game, and I knew she was going to be special. I knew she was going to be special, but I did not know she was going to be like this good. Like I had no clue. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really say on the show. You know what I'm saying? I can't even do that. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that one, man.
It might be watching.
Yeah, that's what I said. I can't do that one, man. But I'm gonna say it like this. Hannah is a way better defensive player than everybody we just named. I'm gonna say that 100%.
Oh yeah.
So I gotta say that 1,000%. But yeah, but to your point though, man, like I do believe you gotta play, both sides of the floor and everything like that. But when you have a player like Caitlin who's just lights out, and again, I'm not making no excuse for it, because I do think that sometimes, and again, I'm an objective person. Like you got some, quote unquote, folks or whatever, who, going and trying to make it seem like she a victim and, and everybody picking on her. You ain't never gonna hear me say that. Because I've seen her play when I've watched her when she played at Angel Reese in Maryland, and she was doing nasty stuff to people back then. I love her game, but I got to be honest. She is a dirty player. Now, it's not just her. A lot of players in the W are dirty. I'm not just picking on her, but Caitlin is not no victim. She does stuff. I'm never going to be,
thank you.
I'm never not going.
I just want somebody to be objective and real about these narratives. Because a lot of these narratives I be seeing, and I think this is why me and you gelled the way we did, even with difference of opinion, is because we have some common sense, some obvious common sense, and some real basketball acumen and knowledge of of the sport. There's folks out here that puts out the absolute worst narratives in the world. I'm just like, where did you get this from? Who told you this? We are too easily conditioned. And my thing is, and I say this all the time on shows, is that research certain stuff for yourself. Some people are just totally overly emotionally invested in stuff that they have no bearing on. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy work. Like you and I, we can talk about, we have an investment and a bearing on what we're talking about. Like you coach Hannah, like learning that you coach Hannah for a game is crazy work. You know how much, listen, sir, I already had a big level of respect. You know how much that level of respect just went like through the roof. But when I hear you coach Hannah,
I got pictures.
Hannah
I got
is
pictures.
going to be fire.
Yeah, you know who Madison McDaniel is in South Carolina?
Yeah.
I got pictures of. I used to pick her up, man. She used to come on my house. I got pictures of me and her. I coached her for 2.5 years at NCAA as well. So yeah, it's a lot of, man. Not only that, now I never coached Azzy Fudd, but I coached against Azzy Fudd. I coached against Angel Reese. She used to kill me all the time, man, because everybody in the same area. Kyla Charles for damn it, played for the Valkyries. Kyla Charles, she actually came to, because she was like a big superstar in the DC area when she was like in the 10th grade. I was coaching middle school. She actually came to my middle school locker room, man, and, you know, talk to the girls. I thought that was always cool, man. So yeah, man, a lot of these girls, man, I had close interactions with, man, when they was in their teenage years, man. So I was lucky enough, you know, to see them. You know, Azzy Bud, I'm telling you, when she was in the 7th grade, she had a routine that she would do every single game. She would have a follow-through routine that she would do. Her mother would come on the court before the game started, make sure she do that routine every single time, man. So, like, you know, to see her lights out shooter, right, I have no, it's like her mother used to put her on the floor with 8th grade boys when she was in the 7th grade. So, like, they prepared her, man. Like, they put her in the fire.
Like they are now before Clark came
like
to
I
the
said,
WY.
hold on one second. Okay, that was you. I thought that was me. Yeah, man. Yeah, but hey, I got to roll to like 2 or 3 minutes, man, because I got to go get my daughter, get ready for practice. But
So
yeah,
let me.
man.
So you know what? Listen,
Yeah.
I tell you what. I tell you what. We should do another one. We
No,
should do another
definitely, yeah,
show.
we
You let me
definitely
know
got to
the
do
time
another
and
one.
place. Let me know the
Yeah.
time and the place in the day. And
Yeah.
anytime, my guy, you are welcome.
Yeah,
To be
we got to do
on
more
the
than an
show with
hour
us, man.
next. Yeah, we got to do more than an hour next time, man. We got because like I said, I feel like we got a lot we could talk about, not just with WNBA, but sports in general, man. So yeah, we
In
definitely
general.
got to do another one.
But
Yeah,
listen,
definitely.
I learned a lot just off of this right here.
Yeah.
I learned a lot just off of this. My guy, the opportunity, this is another thing people I hope they see on the show, that the opportunities is endless, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you,
yeah,
AZ Fudd and Angel Reese getting to coach against them, and
yeah,
Hannah getting
yeah.
to coach against them. Like that's
Right, yeah.
crazy. Like that
Yeah,
is
man.
dope.
Yeah.
That's fire
Yes,
to me.
sir. Yes,
Like
sir,
that
man.
brings a whole nother like level of
Yeah,
blessing
yeah.
to the atmosphere. Now I've been able to,
Right.
interview a lot of great people,
Yeah,
You've actually coached against a lot of great people.
yeah,
So
yeah,
just the fact that it's a blessed environment on this show right here. I definitely appreciate you for coming down.
yeah.
And
Definitely,
go
definitely.
listen, go kick ass. I know you about
Yes,
to go
sir.
kick some ass for real. I know you about to put your foot in there.
Yes, sir.
Man, listen, and tell the people where they can see you, where they
Yeah,
can find you.
yeah,
Um, let them know what you're
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
Let them know what you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so just on Facebook, man, you can look me up. Like I said, I'm on Facebook, DJ DEEJAY. You can give me with a follow on there. Then on Instagram, I post like a lot of on Instagram I actually post like a lot of my my basketball team highlights. You know, I got a 9th grade basketball team. I post a lot of their highlights, and then I post a lot of takes and stuff on the WNBA as well. And my Instagram page is King_Dave89. And I'm pretty much, on there, man, right now, Instagram and Facebook. I need to get on TikTok. I haven't got on there yet. I need to get on there. But yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me, man. And like I said, I definitely appreciate it. I had a blast, man. Can't wait till next time we do it again.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, like I said, we're gonna schedule the next one for sure. And by the way, shout out to everybody who was tuned in. This is just the beginning.
Yes, sir.
DJ, we're gonna get DJ on here even more. All right.
Yes, sir.
Listen, support in 2026. Don't be a hater. All right. I will
Yes,
see
sir.
y'all
Yes, sir.
soon. I will see y'all soon. DJ, thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Take it easy.